Hello, Flosstube. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches here, and this is my Flosstube update number 312. Today is Saturday, December 16th, 2023. It's already halfway through the month of December, and I don't know if I'm prepared for Christmas or not. There's a poem that I used to have up on the wall when I worked, I guess when I worked at Family Life. I don't think I had it. I think I put it away when I left that job, and I don't know where I put it. It's, probably in some files or somewhere. But it had it was a poem, and I think I got it from a book we had about like Christmas traditions or something like that. When I looked for it in the books that I had, I couldn't find it, so I don't know where exactly I got it from. But and it's a sweet little poem, and it basically says something about like I'll do my little acts of kindness early, so that by the time Christmas runs around, I'm not rushing around and trying to get everything done, and I can sit and enjoy the season. It says something like be quiet and look at the stars and hear the angels sing, or something like that. And I really like that poem and like the idea behind it, and that's what I strive for. But I don't necessarily make it, because it seems like you're always doing stuff at the last minute. But I had some Christmas stitching that I was hoping to get done beforehand, and I think I did it. I think I've got all the things stitched that I was planning on stitching. So that's good. I still have to finish all those things, but I've got a week. So yeah, hopefully I can do that sooner rather than later, and get those things taken care of. But anyway, that remains to be seen. But so I just want to touch on the last of the Jingle Ball haul. With the people who attended the ball have like 30 days of access to go back and look at things like if you took a class, if you paid for a class there, those classes were recorded so that people who went to these classes could watch them and watch the videos again. And like if they like finishing instructions for whatever project was going on in the classes, you can watch it over and over again if you didn't finish before the class, or you wanted that information again or whatever. So those things are accessible. But also all the designers that were involved in Jingle Ball, there were like 12 designers, and they all had freebies. And I had mentioned before how I wasn't sure about downloading the freebies, because there weren't really pictures that that I could look at least not on my tablet. I was on my tablet, and so when I was shopping, they all had freebies, but I wasn't sure. It's like, is it really something I want? Is it blah blah blah? But in the emails that we got after the ball was over, there was one that had like where you could access all the freebie files, and so I went through those the other day, and I printed a handful that I figured I'd want, and I basically downloaded all of them, because I figure at some point, like there was one little ornament thing that I thought, I don't know if I would want it, but I might, I could use it as a small. They're sort of, I think of them as resources that I could draw on to if I needed them for some reason. If I decided, oh, I'm going to do this one for so and so, it's there. I have some things I can look at. So I went ahead and downloaded everything, and then just printed off a handful that I figured I might be interested in stitching at some point. So anyway, and then the other thing was I got in the mail this little scissor fob thing that from Heartstring Samplery. It was an exclusive for the Jingle Ball, and it's a little stork scissor thing, and it says "My scissors, my rules." And so it came disassembled. It came with, you know, the wooden piece and this lanyard thing and this pony bead and the lobster claw. And so when I first looked at it, I thought, well, I know the lanyard goes like, you know, the end of the scissors, but I couldn't figure the rest of this out. And she explained, she did a little video about how to put it all together. That she said that, I guess Beth Twist's son had the idea of making these, and the sale of these, you know, it was his, you know, it was his idea, and you know, and so, but he was doing finals. He was in college, I guess, and I think it was college. Anyway, he was doing finals, you know, in the lead up to this, and so they made the decision to just, you know, send out the individual pieces. So she had this little video that, you know, walked her through putting it together, and you know, it was very, very easy. Except that for me, I didn't notice what kind of scissors she had when I you know was because I was trying to stick the lobster claw on their little ring, the split ring here, and so I didn't notice what kind of scissors she had. But for all the scissors that I have, and I have a whole bunch of them, the lobster claw was too small to go on my scissors that I have. So I'm just going to switch this out for a bigger one, because my sister and I have a bunch of lobster claws. With the scissor fobs that we do, we decided to use a bigger lobster claw for that very same reason, that some people who bought the scissor fobs, you know, couldn't put the little lobster claws on their scissors. So we went ahead and made used the bigger ones for that. So I think I'll probably try to go ahead and switch this out for a larger lobster claw. But that's pretty cute. With as many pairs of scissors that I own, you know, I could use one. But so then I talked last week about how I had announced, oh, I have a finish, and I hadn't done the back stitching of his little smile there on this snowman. This is the Primrose Cottage Stitches Snowman 2023. And I actually ironed these. But there, I put his little smile on, so he's no longer a mute snowman. And he looks like a little happy guy. And then, but primarily what I spent my time in, I worked on my elephant Biscornu, because that was I was, you know, trying to reach the goal, and I still haven't reached the goal. I worked on it a little bit today while we were filming. But I still really have a day to go. I didn't really spend too much time on it today, so I want to go ahead and work on it more. But the reason that I haven't quite hit that goal yet was that I was working on some Christmas stitching. And I think I've got everything done that I want to do. So I drew from this book. This is a Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread book called The Snowball. And it's 7 winter-themed pin cushions. I talked about this last week. So I did this one here, which is called Snow Day. And this one here, which is Let It Snow. And then the other one I did was, I was talking about how it uses this little bird, but what I did was they have, like, in the sort of, you know, white spaces on these pages, they just filled it in with a little excerpt from, you know, the different projects. But this little bird is one that it doesn't appear anywhere. You know, it's similar to this bird here, but it's fatter and the hat is different, and you know, and so it's there, but you can kind of see the white stitches here. They're very hard, very faint, you know, because it's white on white basically. They're kind of gray, and so I took my PC stitch and I just like enlarged it, and you know, put all the like snowflakes and all that kind of stuff in there, and just made an exact copy of this, but just bigger so I could see it. And so that is this one here. Oop, oh, it's the back. This one here. There's the little fat bird. So cute. So I'm going to make this into an ornament for my niece. And then this one is, this is Snow Day. I just finished this the other day. And sorry about the dog barking. And then this is Let It Snow. I'm going to make this one into a pillow as well. So these are just really cute designs from this with a needle and thread booklet. So that's what I've been working on, sort of, you know, madly working on them this week. So I didn't quite finish my hit my goal yet on the elephant Biscornu. This is by Tinymodernist, part of her Biscornu of the Month Club patterns. And I was just remarking with my sisters how, this is upside down, how it's really pretty big, you know, compared to, like, I think other ones I've made before were on 28 count Lugana. This is 25 count. And it makes a difference in how big it is. Because if you imagine this is one side of the Biscornu, it's going to be a pretty big Biscornu. But what my sister said, well, it's elephants. Elephants, it's going to be big. So it's an elephant Biscornu. But so what I have left, this is the front side. I'm not going to, I was fantasizing that maybe I would finish it, you know, this month or whatever, but I'm not going to finish it. Because this is just the front side, and there's some back stitching. All of the elephants have back stitching, and then there's a little bit of back stitching here on the little flower crown that each elephant has. So there's a little bit of back stitching here, and then the whole elephant, there's back stitching, you know, around it. So I just while we were filming, I was working on his this elephant's feet here, and I just did this one, and I did one of them, and I realized I had, you know, turned it this way. I had crossed the X's the wrong way. So I took it all out and I just redid it. So so I have to finish this elephant, and there's, you know, two more little Quaker things right here, and the elephant's flower crown, and then I have to finish here. There's just a little bit around the feet there, the other leg, and then there's, yeah, so there's, you know, this patch of darker gray right here, and then these other colors there on the feet, and then the little flower crown. So if I work diligently today on this, I can finish off, you know, these elements, and probably not all the back stitching. And then, of course, you backstitch around it, you know, to make your little sewing line. And then, you know, there's the whole back side of the thing. So you know, if I stitch away and hit my goal today, I could probably finish that last elephant and the little flower components of it. And I probably won't get much past that. There's a piece of lint on there. So. And then the other thing I did, and I did this just a slight bit, and because I'd like to get this finished, but like I said, I had put it aside while I was working on that other stuff. So I got all the way down. Last week, I think I had done these two NEE. Because I was going backwards. So I had done all of this, and there's like I still haven't done the two little stars on here and down here. But I finished all of this word here, Halloween, and I was doing it at the beginning of while we were filming, and I was playing a game of thread chicken because I was like working on this H, and I was almost finished, you know, and I didn't want to start a new thread, so I'm like fiddling my way through finishing it. But I'd like to get it finished so I can start the next one below it, you know. So I still have there's you know, all the cat stuff down here, but I did finish the words here, and yeah, so it's mostly done, but I still have to do the little cat feet and the cat tail, and there's like an orange line here thing. So I have to all that, and I want to at least maybe get the beginning of this one done, so that I know where the end of this pattern is, and I can do the little freebie border between them. Do one of the freebie borders. I do have that planned out as to like which border I'm going to put in between each design, so that if I can place that, then I can start the next one. But you know, I have on my WIPGO board a new start for each square, and so my plan was to do the next Black Cat season and the next Year in the Woods from Cottage Garden Samplings, to do those two new starts this month. But technically, I don't know when I started to let it snow, but these two, this one I started and finished in one day, and this one I started just a couple of days ago and finished it last night, this morning, I don't know. So technically I've done two new starts. I just didn't do the two I was planning on doing. I did something different. So if I didn't do the Reindeer, which is the Year in the Woods for this month, and the next Black Cat season pattern, if I didn't do those two, I would still have hit my goal of doing a new start for each of those squares. So, you know, and I still have the week after Christmas to do anything non-Christmassy, including my other WIPGO piece, which is the Voyage of Discovery. I haven't been anxious about starting that because it's, you know, it can wait till after Christmas or whatever. I don't have much time after Christmas, but you know, it's not crucial to be finished before Christmas. So that remains to be seen. But we went today to go get our Christmas tree, which was fun. And yeah, so that's what we've been up to. So I did finish, except for some kits that I have, going through all my my stash, all my patterns that I have and all that. And I did go through my punch needle magazines. I think I talked about this last week, about how you you know, as a subscriber, I have access to all of the issues, and I did buy one pattern from Lindy Stitches that I already have access to in those punch needle issues, because she did a series called it's something like habitats, you know, the different animal homes, basically. So the polar bear abode was the one I bought, but in that she did that series a couple of years ago, I think, and I have an issue that has like Eagle Manor, which is the eagle's home, right? And she did, you know, several others. But like I said, I think at that time I didn't have a subscription, and so I had missed this issue or that issue. But anyway, so theoretically I have access to that pattern, but I didn't have it, you know, under my fingertips right now. But so yeah. And because it was before, it's been released to the public now. So it wasn't a Jingle Ball exclusive. It was just, you know, an extra one, an extra pattern that you could purchase. So anyway, so yeah, I did have one, you know, thing where I bought a pattern that I already had, but, you know, whatever. Like I said, I didn't have it in my hand. It's, you know, out there online somewhere, but, and probably there's lots of others. But anyway, so that was the the one little thing I did this year. But I went through all of the patterns that I have, and I have a whole pile of them. And really, between the punch needle patterns and the ones that I have in various tote bags, and the ones in my big gray notebook, or my big whatever color it is notebook, big black notebook. It's like a 3-inch binder that has, you know, all these things in it. And between all the patterns that I have, not counting the whips, that I think patterns that I've already started, even ones that have just a minuscule little start on them, because I did Mania, and I started several patterns, you know, that I just did one day on, you know, on it or whatever, or 2 days maybe, I think. But so they have very, you know, small starts on them. But not counting any of those, and not counting the whips in my WIPGO pile and random other whips, not counting those, all my new patterns, I probably have enough to do almost one start every day next year, 300 and some patterns. But the one good thing about going through all of those is that I came across a few that I thought, you know, I'm probably never going to stitch that. So I could, you know, winnow down my stash. It's only a few patterns, maybe I don't know, 5 to 10 patterns in there that I figure I'd probably never stitch. So they might be future giveaways or something. And you know, like I said, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're just like, you know, your tastes change and evolve, you know, over the years or whatever, or you buy a pattern for some reason and change your mind about it later on or whatever. And so the problem I have is, you know, like going to the Jingle Ball, there's a whole bunch of patterns there to purchase. Hey, excuse me. Sorry about that. The dog, I think, probably saw somebody across the street or something outside. And thought we were being murdered, so she barked her head off. Anyway, but so like I said, I think, you know, my tastes changed or whatever, and things that were attractive to me at the time, you know, aren't basically things that I'm thinking, yeah, I'm probably never going to stitch that. and so so I'll probably do some of them as a giveaway. It'll make a very tiny little dent in all the patterns that I have, but it was kind of nice to go through it and see what I have and what I would like to do. And I don't know that I have time to do this, but is to go through and I tried to do it a little bit when I was, putting those patterns like in my notebook to begin with. And that is to try to categorize them, alphabetize them, something. I don't know if it's by designer, by, probably not by subject, but I don't know. Probably by designer and then alphabetical by designer, something like that, So like I have a bunch of stitching with the housewives patterns. And so, maybe all those I can alphabetize. It's a little bit hard because sometimes, the title of a pattern doesn't really tell you, oh, there's a bunny in this, or this is there's a pattern of this or that or the other. The title might not say something like that. But it would make it a little bit easier to find. I don't know. But, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. And, but, going through them all helps me to sort of just to know what I have. And, just give me a lot of stuff. And also, like, going through my my WIPs, things that have been started or slightly started. I still haven't quite settled my WIPGO board for next year. I kind of want to do that and to sort of do a slightly different scenario. I probably have close to 25, maybe not quite 25, things that I want to work on. Like my rabbit patterns, I have 9 of them left because 3 I had finished, and I FFO'd them this year as part of my, one FFO in each square. I had at least one. And I think actually the rabbits I had, all 3 that I FFO'd, I had them listed together as an FFO. But so the 9 remaining have all been started, but some are more finished, closer to a finish than others. And so probably I may be able to finish those. But what my sister suggested, and I think I'll probably do this, is that, in 9 of the slots, just to put, a rabbit on there and not specify necessarily which one, so that whenever it gets called, I can just choose whichever one I want to work on, depending on, like what else is called that month and how far along that particular rabbit is. So that'll help me. And probably all of them are actually doable if, even keeping my goal at like 6 days or whatever. The ones that have been, they've all been started. And so even the ones that have less finished are probably easy enough to do all of them. Sorry, the flying here. But they're small, and they're basically repeating, right? You do, they repeat each corner or whatever, each little corner of the design, by ink circles. So that wouldn't be hard to do. And then the other one is A Year in the Woods. I have 3 that I have not started. Well, 4 if you count this month's. I don't know if I get to it. I don't know. But so I think September, August, and July, I think, are the 3 that I have not done. July, August, September. And I think part of that was because I was doing cross-stitch camp. In September, I don't remember what I did as a new start. It might have been, yeah, Black Cat season. I think I was just excited about Black Cat season coming along, so I did that as one of my new starts. And yeah, and the bear, which was the September. So maybe it was June, July, and August that I didn't do, which was during cross-stitch camp. So that might have been why, I think. But anyway, so I don't know, that's kind of a gray area. I haven't decided about, if it's part of a series like that, do I go ahead and start it, even though it's not a WIP, and then there's like one prairie schooler that I started very briefly during Mania, Starry Night, is, there's only like 2 or 3 colors in it. I think a black and a blue and maybe a gold or yellow kind of color. And maybe one other color, I don't remember. But they're very much like the Blackwork Angels that I did, the Prairie Schooler Blackwork Angels. Very similar style, very similar look. But I think I only have a tiny, tiny little start on one of them. And I think there's 5 or 6 of those the patterns in that series. So again, it's a gray area as to whether or not I think of that as a WIP, because it's the whole big series. And the same thing with Sleepy Hollow, which was a mystery Sal once upon a time from Tinymodernist. And I've done, either I've completed the first 2 or I'm almost done with the second one. But there's a 3rd part and a 4th part for 3 separate, strips. Plus, because I was going to make them into a drum, make them each into drums, there's like a little round part for the topper. And that's another additional pattern that I have never started those. So we'll see how that comes out. And then, so I think between the Rabbit, Sleepy Hollow, Starry Night, and Year in the Woods, I think that would be the 25, or close to it, So, so we'll see. And I might go ahead and continue with my new start. And I don't know how many things I have left that I could FFO. I have a handful left that I haven't FFO'd yet. But I don't know if I have enough to do 25 of them, do one each month. So I may not put an FFO requirement on there, but I may just, keep that in mind as, I don't know. But we shall see. So anyway, I think that's all I have this week. Hopefully, I'm hoping to do, an FFO parade or whatever, or finish parade or FFO parade, at the end of this month. I probably am not going to do it yet. I think, because I'm going to do the 23rd, which is, as we like to say, Christmas Eve. And I think we're probably going to be doing like a, Christmas Eve kind of party, and open our presents on Christmas Eve instead of on Christmas Day. One of the things that my mother used to do, a tradition that we had when we were kids, was a big Christmas Eve party kind of, and like, all the family members, would come, most especially my dad's family, a lot of them, because they were in town, most of them lived there in town, whereas my mom's family was, here and there. But so we would have, like, there was like a big Christmas party. I remember when we were kids, there was like, all these, all this food on our dining table. All the chairs were pulled out because they were all in the living room for people to sit on or whatever. But so people would come and go around the table and serve themselves. And I remember that when I was a kid, that was my first time tasting coffee, because my mom had a big coffee pot thing that she'd fill, and then like toward the end, after all, as the party was winding down or whatever, and all the leftovers and everything, and people were leaving, whatever, we'd have a little, a little bit of coffee with a lot of cream and sugar, and I still like my coffee that way. Coffee flavored chocolate is the way I like to think of it. Or like, a couple times a year, a few times a year, we have coffee at church, and I'll put a little bit of coffee and a lot of sugar and creamer in it or whatever. But so yeah, so in that sort of tradition of Christmas party on Christmas Eve, whatever, my younger sister wants to sort of revive that a little bit, and so we're probably going to be doing that. Plus, because Christmas Eve falls on a Sunday, we're going to have our church is having our regular service on Sunday morning, but then a special Christmas Eve service like that late that afternoon, and then we'll be ready to do the Christmas party at my sister's house. So it's that's coming up in a week, so that's it's kind of fun and festive. But so this week I have to get all my Christmas gifts ready, and I've been sort of trying to keep a list, so I have in my head who gets what, and and whatever last minute purchases I have to make, things that I like, what do I get so and so, I don't know yet, and so working on that still. But so yeah, I want to get put all those things together so that I know what I have, and and like I said, I've been making a list. I started the other day. I was sitting in my computer for a long time making a list of who gets what and what I've picked up for who, whatever, so that I can keep it straight in my head, like, oh, I haven't gotten anything for this person, I have, or I've already got something for that person, I don't need to get anything more. So yeah, that's my process of going through it. I will see you all next week, I think, on the 23rd. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to squeeze in. It may be a shorter episode, because I think if I do an FFO parade or a finished parade or whatever, it's going to be at the end, or maybe even in January, to show like all the things I finished in December. I mean, in 2023 or something. So it certainly won't be next week, but probably, after that. So anyway, so that's it, I think, for this week. And hopefully next week also I will have all my Christmas stuff done, and maybe I'll even start on my other WIPGO piece, so I can get all those 6 days in. And I haven't done the 2 FFOs that I have for this month. One of them is Easter Preparation by Twin Peak Primitives, and the other is Gathering Berries by Misty Pursel of Luminous Fiber Arts. Last week I always like rewatch my episodes, and I'm like, yeah, I like misspeak all the time, like being up a different designer or whatever, like get them all mixed up. Anyway, but yeah, those 2 that I'm supposed to FFO, yeah, Easter Preparation and Gathering Berries. I still don't know they're gonna have to wait till the last minute because I don't know what I'm gonna what I'm gonna do about them. Easter preparation is pretty good size. It's and gathering berries. I kind of think I know what I might know what to do with that, but I'm not quite sure of the size, so I have to explore a little bit about that. But anyway, those I can't forget that I have those two to do, and yeah, with all the Christmas things going on, I've been putting it off and putting it off, so I haven't even looked at it to see. Yeah, and even the Voyage of Discovery, I haven't even thought about it because I was stitching away madly at those snowball designs, whatever. So anyway, that's it. So I will see you next week. I think I already started to say this. And until then, welcome back to my regular subscribers. And welcome to any of you who maybe saw this for the first time. And go ahead and like and subscribe if you liked the episode that you saw today. And I will see you next week. All right. Thanks. Bye.